What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here. I'm doing something I don't normally do, a film review. So, today we're going to talk about Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So, story. What happens? Well, pretty much it's a very surface level story going on here. Luke Skywalker ends up missing. This random droid ends up having a piece of the map that they're trying to get to the Resistance so they can find Luke Skywalker. That's it. That's the story. So, moving forward from the story without any spoilers, let's talk about everything. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this review mostly spoiler-free until the very end. The ending's going to be filled with spoilers, but up until that point, just talking about everything from editing, cinematography, even plot elements in the story, which, to put it bluntly, it's a very well-made movie. There's nothing really to complain about. Maybe I'd have to watch it again to catch some mistakes, but for the most part, the film's fantastic. The action scenes, I guess, the film kinda starts out really big in the beginning, really fast-paced, and then it kind of slows down, and then it picks itself back up again with an action scene, then it slows itself back down again, and then it picks itself back up, and then it kind of slows down again, and it just kind of works. It goes up and down, so you won't really ever be super bored in the film. I mean, there's one part in the beginning that I felt kind of dragged on a little bit. I was like, meh. But for the most part, the film, it goes up and down, so really good. The film is very light on exposition, which I feel was very purposeful. I think the screenwriters purposely written the film out to be very vague to intrigue the audience, but I'm not really sure if this is 100% successful because it's almost too vague. It's not really, enough details weren't really sprinkled in, enough breadcrumbs weren't dropped to get you to try to pick them up. It's very vague on characterizations. You don't really know much about the characters except a couple of details. I mean, they work very well together, which is a fantastic thing, but overall, from a storytelling standpoint, it's a very surface level story. There is a little bit of course, a little bit of backstory that's missing from the main antagonist, Kylo Ren, and we'll talk about him at the end of the video, but for the most part, very surface level story. Again, very good actors, very good characters. It's just really vague, kind of like this review. So all that being said, again, the film is well done. It looks great, it looks nice in 3D. I mean, there's never really a point for 3D movies, but even in 3D, it was fine. So overall, it's a really good, solid movie, and there's a lot of enjoyment to be had in the film. It's not very bad, and I think most people who watch it will be entertained. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. It entertains you with the story that goes up and down, and yeah, that's pretty much my review. Most people would enjoy the film altogether. Really vague. It's obviously setting up a sequel. However, it doesn't set up the sequel very well. I mean, there's no real coherent story other than, the First Order, the new bad guys are bad guys and we gotta stop them. There's a new big bad antagonist that there's fuck all about. You don't really know much about him. Again, this story, it's very vague and surface level is the best way to describe this story. There isn't much to intrigue you apart from the fact that you don't know shit for tat. So, yeah. Yeah, and that pretty much concludes the spoiler-free part of the review. Now, we got some spoilers going on. Now, this part of the video is for my regular audience, the people who normally watch my channel. If you are, a newcomer here, I mean, you can stay, I can't stop you, but you might be a little confused. So, one thing that I like to do, I am very critical of the media I absorb nowadays, and I scan it for any feminist or social justice warrior progressive bullshit. Why? Because it's everywhere. Sometimes you don't even have to look for it. It just kind of smacks you right in the face. And in all honesty, The Force Awakens, it does that. It smacks you right in the face with all of its diversity. I mean, I'm telling you, like, they got they checked off their social justice progressive bullshit for this film. Don't get me wrong. This does not take from the film. It's still a great film, all in its own right. But I noticed it, I mean, I saw like Asian actors, I saw like an Asian woman, there were Latino guys in there, of course Finn, black guy, main character Rey was a young English white woman. I mean, even the main antagonist Kylo Ren was a young white male. Just gone in. I mean, the feminist bullshit could be clearly seen in this film. And I'll tell you one thing. Like I said in the spoiler-free part, the film works. It's still a good movie overall. There is one thing that kind of takes me out the film, which I'm about to explain in just a second. But I just do want to say, you know, for the regular, viewers here, yeah, there's a little bit of progressive bullshit here in this film. One more criticism I can lay at the film was the fact that the film spent so much time trying to, tickle your nostalgia bones, or tickle your brain and get you to remember, how great the old film was. It didn't really spend a lot of time being its own movie, The character Kylo Ren kind of encapsulates exactly how this movie feels, It's trying to live up to something that was much better than what it was. And this isn't to say that the film is bad. I keep saying again, it's a great movie. You're gonna enjoy it. What I'm saying is, it was kind of a missed opportunity to be its own thing. Again, it spent so much time. It felt like every time the movie was trying to be original on its own, it just like the memories just kept grabbing it. And it was like, I want to be original, and it's like, no, nostalgia. It just kept getting pulled down by tossing out nostalgia moments. And harkening back to a much better film, and that's of course completely neglecting the fact that the entire plot line of the movie is pretty much A New Hope. And I don't know, I was a little disappointed in that. Final film, I'd give the film about a good 7.5 out of 10. Why? Cinematography is great, great action scenes, the movie looks beautiful. However, the story is a little too vague and lackluster. There's a lot of things that aren't explained. It's not in depth, and there's a lot of missed opportunities in the film that kinda don't really help the film recover. So it's a 7.5 because it spends way too much time trying to be like a great film instead of trying to be its own great film. So what I recommend, you buy it, and I'm saying, pick it up on Blu-ray. You'll be alright if you don't see it in theaters. Alright, well, that's today's video. So what was the one thing that kind of took me out of the video? Well, I decided that a good in-depth analysis of the characters would help flesh out my thoughts and be much more entertaining for you, the viewer. So what I decided to do was to create a separate, much longer video talking in depth about the problems I had with the characters in the film. And I'm going to upload that part of the video onto Patreon. So that way it'll be a nice preview for the people who are patrons, to give them something special, because I don't do much for those guys other than make regular content. So, yeah, there's that little reward for you guys. And if you don't want to be a patron, then you're just going to have to wait to see what happens next, because my channel is in a waiting period to see if I can get the strike removed. Not very many details on that, but that's what I'm waiting for. And if push comes to shove, then I don't know, maybe next week or some other time I'll put the full video up on my extended channel. But the hope is that my channel will be fine sometime next week. And if not, well then, the video's on Patreon, and the patrons get a really cool preview of the next video. So, there you go. Yeah, my Christmas present to you guys. Not really. I mean, you guys paid for it, so. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys, thanks for checking out the video, and that being said, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment box below. And as always, have a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.